Good morning, everyone. Today marks a significant milestone in cross-border harmonization between the European Commission and the United States Commodity Futures Trading Commission. First, I'm pleased to announce that we have agreed to a common approach regarding derivatives trading platform equivalence. It will ensure that European firms and U.S. firms can trade on each other's registered derivatives platforms. Second, the European Commission has adopted an equivalence decision for the CFTC's margin framework for uncleared derivatives. At the same time, the CFTC has issued a decision today concluding that EU margin rules are comparable to the similar CFTC rules. This means that EU firms may rely on substituted compliance with EU margin rules to meet CFTC requirements. These cross-border measures will provide certainty to market participants. They will ensure that our global markets are not stifled by fragmentation, inefficiencies, and higher costs. Indeed, these measures are critical to maintaining the integrity of our global swaps marketplace. I would like to personally thank Vice President Valdis Dombrovskis and his staff for working closely with us at the CFTC in reaching these achievements. I'm a firm believer that by working together in a close cooperative spirit, we can strengthen our economies while keeping our financial system resilient and stable. And today represents the results of productive work that we have done together over the past year. And I would like also to especially thank staff here at the CFTC for their hard work, especially the staff of the Division of Market Oversight, Division of Swap Dealer and Intermediary Oversight, and the Office of International Affairs. I look forward to continuing to work with Vice President Dombrovskis in a cooperative manner to make further progress in harmonizing our global regulatory frameworks. Vice President.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. First of all, I would like to thank Chairman Giancarlo for the warm welcome. The European Commission has a close and constructive cooperation with CFTC, and we are determined to keep this up in the future. This is important because financial markets are truly global. Working together is the best way to ensure their stability and resilience, and while avoiding market fragmentation and over-regulation. I'm pleased to announce that today we have taken two further steps in this direction. First, the European Commission and CFTC have agreed on a common approach regarding certain derivatives trading platforms. It is important that European counterparts can continue trading in derivatives on authorized US markets. This agreement is an excellent example of how safe yet global trading environment can be ensured in a spirit of open cooperation. I would like to thank Chairman Giancarlo and his team for working closely together with the European Commission to reach this common approach. Second, European Commission has adopted today an equivalence decision regarding the US framework for non-cleared over-the-counter derivatives. Together with similar decision by the CFTC for the EU framework, this will avoid double regulatory burden for these transactions both in the EU and in the US. This is important because it ensures that cross-border actors will not have to post double margins for derivatives transactions. Together, those two measures will provide certainty to markets, minimize regulatory arbitrage, and encourage competition on a level playing field. Thank you very much.
We'll be happy to take some questions.
So if you raise your hand, we'll bring you the microphone. First, we'll have Gabe from the Wall Street Journal.
Hi, good morning. Mr. Chairman, do you have concerns about market fragmentation resulting from MiFID II, and how far does this trading platform agreement go towards assuaging those concerns?
This goes a long way towards assuaging those concerns. It doesn't address all the issues, but addresses a number of the ones that market participants have been concerned about for some time now. What I'd like to say in that regard is that we've been aware of those concerns both here at the CFTC and at the European Commission. And when Vice President Dombrovskis and I first sat down within a few weeks of my becoming acting chairman, we identified those very concerns about market fragmentation and agreed to work very closely together to reach the outcome we've done today.
Next question. We'll take Ben Bain with Bloomberg.
Vice President Dombrovskis, I wanted to ask specifically about the process in Europe. Can you tell me about what happens next? I understand there's an expectation that you guys will take this up next month. Can you explain to me how that exactly will work, and when we should expect some type of final determination? And also, how does this impact the equity platforms that you're also working on some type of agreement with?
On the future steps as regards this common approach, they are actually described in the document itself. So basically, it says that I will propose that European Commission adopts an equivalence decision covering the FTC authorized CEFs and DCMs that are notified to by CFTC. So it basically will now, based on this common approach, will prepare an equivalence decision of the EU.
Okay, next. Michelle Price, Reuters.
Thanks, Vice President. I just want to push you on that question of stock trading. Obviously, this addresses issues in the derivatives market, but are you any closer to an agreement on the other asset classes that are covered by MiFID?
Currently, today, as we said, we are here to announce agreements which had been reached, but we are working in an open and cooperative spirit, and I'm confident we'll be also to resolve all the remaining issues which are concerned to entry in the force of MiFID II, because this is scheduled already for January next year.
All right, Barney Jobson with the Financial Times.
Thank you. Just a question about a bit of the history. This deal's obviously been a long time coming, dates back to the Obama administration. Can you talk a little bit about the obstacles or the barriers that you think you've overcome to finally get it done?
Yep, thank you for that. I think what this deal signals is that the CFTC today is committed to progress on the important international dimensions of what we do, and working closely with our international colleagues, especially our colleagues at the European Commission. Within weeks of becoming acting chairman, I flew to Brussels to meet with the Vice President to go through a range of issues, including the issues that we've announced today, and to confirm our determination to work closely with the European Commission to resolve these issues. There are a number of issues on our agenda, but these were ones that we resolved we would address immediately and conclude this year, and we have done that. I'm confident, and since that time we've met several times. We've met here in Washington, we've met in Estonia, we've met elsewhere, we've spoken frequently. We've let our teams know how important it was to resolve these issues, working hard, reflecting our different approaches to these concerns, our different jurisdictions, our different histories, and yet coming to a common understanding. So I think what we've achieved today speaks very well for what we'll be able to achieve in the future. Invariably, there will be additional issues come up. There are issues today, there will be issues in the future. What's important, though, is that we have a path to resolution of them. We have a methodology, we have a staff-to-staff relationships all the way down the chain, and I think that bodes very well for the other issues that invariably will be ahead of us. But I think we have a path to success, and we've shown that today.
We'll take Neil Rowland with MLEX.
The next steps appear to be that you'll give to each other the list of trading platforms that have approved and met your standards. How will that process work, and what's the time frame? Will there be applications by the trading platforms, and what criteria would you use?
So Neil, I'll let some of my staff heads walk you through some of the details of that. What I want you to understand is that the commitment you see here today is a commitment to see this through to the end. And based upon meeting with my staff just this morning and with the Vice President, I'm confident that we will resolve the remaining issues and finalize this in advance of the January 3rd implementation date of MiFID II. So I have no concerns as I stand here today that we won't complete the remaining details.
Last question.
Maybe just to add a couple of points. Indeed, we are working on this, and actually this work is quite advanced already. So there is considerable progress where we're working together with CFTC to have its exemption decisions for the EU venues. So we have gathered a list of EU eligible venues that that are either already authorized or will be authorized by or around 3rd of January next year. So this list would enable the CFTC to access equivalence, or as the US calls it, deference. So work is very advanced on this, and we'll be able to deliver by 3rd of January.
Last question. Anyone? Michelle, follow up?
Vice President, this is rather opportunistic, but I am a journalist. In the subject of cooperation, there's a lot of focus also this week on whether or not there will be an agreement at Basel. Can you comment at all on whether or not you have any expectations of an agreement on that?
I can say that from the EU side, we are willing to finalize a Basel framework, so we're working towards the agreement. Well, I cannot speculate on the outcome of the negotiations, since negotiations are still ongoing. But of course, there is an important element that this Basel agreements then are followed by all major international market participants. That we are not only discussing them, but we are implementing. We are implementing what has already been agreed, and then we can realize that also the new agreements will be duly implemented.
Thank you so much.
Take some photographs of us.
Oh, okay. Is it like some?